Welcome to the online training for the Integrated Monarch Monitoring Program, or the IMMP. The IMMP is a program to collect data on monarch butterflies and their habitats across their entire breeding range. We're excited to have you join this effort. In this video, you'll learn how to select a random site to monitor. The IMMP allows participants to monitor random and non-random or self-selected sites. The random site is recommended for those who can do this. It's a site that's been selected by the program and can be adopted by you. A self-selected site is for people who cannot access random sites near them or who are charged with monitoring certain properties like the parks they work for, or who have personal properties they strongly prefer to monitor. Data from random sites help us more accurately describe the average habitat condition in an area. Random sites can also be paired with or compared to self-selected sites. Random sites are very important to understanding the landscape as a whole. Imagine this purple area is a landscape that the monarch will fly over, and we want to evaluate it. We pick a site we want to monitor. It's a beautiful park with lots of monarchs we're excited to see. Then we pick another site. It's another park, maybe not as nice, but we're doing some management here, and we're going to track how the management changes. Then we pick another site, our friend Marshall's backyard, and another friend's yard, and then Marshall starts to monitor at his nature center because he goes there all the time and he knows there's a lot of milkweed. A few friends pick a few more sites to monitor. This habitat is shaping up quite well. We found a lot of milkweed and nectar plants, especially given that we've only surveyed about 10% of the landscape. If this is any indicator of what the habitat on this landscape is like, then we're in great shape for monarchs. There might be 10 times as much milkweed and nectar resources here. Or maybe there's not. This is why we strive for random sampling and why we greatly appreciate your help to achieve this goal. We need to know what's available to monarchs across the whole landscape, not just in areas where people are caring for habitat. Random priority blocks are situated across the monarch's U.S. breeding range. These 10 by 10 kilometer cells were randomly selected through a specialized process. They're random and do not necessarily indicate higher quality or potential for habitat. In fact, you might arrive at one and find there's no milkweed or no suitable habitat at all. To look at these, go to the website shown here to access the interactive map. If you zoom into these blocks, you'll see dozens of colored dots. These are the actual random points that could be monitored. Not every single point needs to be monitored. In the east, the colors indicate site type or land use. We aim to monitor one of each site type in each random priority block. You can pick which site type you'd like to monitor. In the west, there are only 3 colors. These indicate the area's potential suitability for milkweed. You may pick your preferred suitability to monitor. We recommend selecting a high suitability point to start. We understand this introduces bias, but also want to utilize participants' time in the best way possible given this vast landscape. We can also account for that bias because we know which points had high, medium, or low suitability for milkweed to start with. If you zoom in even further, numbers will appear for each point. Remember, it's only these points that are random. If you want to monitor a park within this priority block, but there's no random point here, that park is a self-selected site. Please select the point with the lowest number to monitor. If you have a certain site type or milkweed suitability you'd like to monitor, select the lowest numbered one. You can do this by scanning the map with your eye or by sorting them in a table here. To sort them in a table, click on the Attribute button down in the bottom right. A table will appear at the bottom of your screen. Use the slider at the top of the table to expand it. These white words on the left show what table you're looking at. Here, the eastern sites are default. If you want to view the western sites, click the Layers icon in the upper right. A list of layers, which are the types of information shown on the map, appears. Find the layer you want to see and sort, and then click the 3 dots next to it. Then click the View in Attribute Table button. Once you have the correct layer in your table, click the Options, and then select Filter. We're going to show the points that are in the priority block of interest to you. Remember, You can always scan with your eye for the lowest number or choose this sorting and filtering method. A box like this will appear. Click to add an expression. Then use the drop-down menu to select a block ID. Type in the priority block ID of interest. Then click OK. Sort the point ID column in ascending order. Then look down the rows to find this lowest number point. In this example, we're interested in monitoring an unclassified grassland. The lowest numbered unclassified grassland is 26. We can highlight it and then click Zoom to. The map will recenter on your point. Once you've decided which point you want to monitor, click the Site Editor tool, the brown button at the bottom, to adopt it. Then click on your point to enter some details. In the pop-up box, use the drop-down menu to switch from the site from Available to Adopted. The verified site type is a way to verify that the site type is correct, because sometimes it's not. In the West, it's a way to pick the site type for the first time, since points are not initially assigned a site type. You can change the base layer so that the aerial imagery is shown, which can help you determine if the site type needs to be changed. Enter your name in the Adopted By field, and then enter the adoption date. In this example, we're adopting point 26. Its assigned site type was unclassified grassland, but it turns out that this is a local park, so we've changed the verified site type to protected grassland. Click Save. You can view this information again later by clicking the brown Site Editor button again. Note that there are two important pieces of information here to create your plot ID. Remember, your plot ID consists of the 3-letter code for its site type and the priority monarch block number and point number. Here, the plot ID that we'll use on all future surveys is PGS 005307-000026. We've added leading zeros, so each number is 6 digits long. Once you click Save, the circle around your point will become blue, indicating it's been adopted. We'll also want to get the coordinates of this point so we can navigate to it in the field. In the lower left, click the crosshair symbol next to the moving coordinates. It will then say, click the map to get coordinates. Click on your point, and you'll see that the coordinates appear on the left. Write these on your site description form. You'll also need to determine your plot layout, whether a standard rectangle or a standard square fit on your site, or if you need an irregular or linear site. Click the green Measure tool at the bottom. Then in the pop-up box, click the Measure Distance tool and make sure it's in meters. Then click on your starting point and move the line around until you find a direction that your shape will fit. Continue drawing your shape to estimate where it will be located. You can either get the coordinates for all these corners in this mapping tool, like we just showed you, or you can get them in the field using your GPS unit or your phone as you set up the plot. Then you'll also want to know the bearing or the angle that your plot is facing. We'll open another tool here, the orange Distance and Bearing tool on the bottom. Use the drop-down menu to select Point. We'll draw our angle here using points. Then click the little Location icon button here. Check the box for Create Line interactively, and then you might have to go back and check the little location bubble icon again. Click on your first point, and then click on your second point. Then you'll see your bearing or your angle in 2 places. This will need to go on your site description form. You can fill out a lot of your site description form with the information we just got on this mapping tool. You have the original site type, the verified site type, the plot ID, and details about the plot configuration and location. This will help you set up the plot in the field. Sometime before you enter your data into the IMMP data entry portal, you'll have to register your site. Go to the website shown below, click on the Field Activities and Protocols page, and scroll to the bottom for directions on how to register your site. This completes the step-by-step training on how to adopt a random site. Remember, these steps are written out in a document available on the IMMP Training Resources webpage. If you have questions, contact your local monitoring coordinator at the Monarch Joint Venture. That's available at monitoring@monarchjointventure.org. Thank you, and happy monitoring.